Hello, friends. Welcome to today's show. I'm Dr. Helen, founder and chief engagement officer, or CEO, of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and your host for Dr. Helen Speaks: Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. It's good to be here with you today. It's good to be here with you every day that we show up here together. Our time together highlights my day and brings joy. And it's my goal to add value to your day as well. The wellspring of knowledge in the world lives wealth beyond measure through the power of learning. I'm a lifelong learner, committed to focused time and energy to bring you relevant information to add to your wealth of knowledge, to move you forward in your leadership journey. And it truly is a journey. It's not a destination. A destination implies an arrival or the end of your pursuit, whatever the case may be. Leadership is an ongoing journey. It's like that movie years ago called The Never Ending Story. It really was the never ending story until it got to the end. But that's the difference between movies and real life. In real life, this journey of leadership doesn't end until you choose to say that it's the end. And even though it may be the end for you, it's not the end for the millions and billions of other people who continue to stay committed and connected to that path of lifelong learning. And even when you decide that leadership isn't the lane you want to be in anymore, it still is an opportunity to exercise and practice lifelong learning. Now, along the journey, we may pause, plateau, get stuck, and sometimes we get off of it for a while. But none of these things constitutes or it means that there's an end to leadership. One of the most significant lessons I've learned is that the most effective leaders are lifelong learners, and who you learn from matters. Your investment in your leadership through learning new and improved ways of showing up, of being a leader, develops you to be a better, stronger, and more impactful leader, a more relevant leader. Can I just say, for the record, we need a lot more leaders like that in the world today. Here we go. That question, I can't show up here without asking this one question. And that is, do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? Now, this is so much more than a yes/no question. It's really a focused question full of potential to keep you on track to living your best life, doing what brings you fulfillment, joy, meaning, purpose to your life. I ask you this question every week because repetitive practices like resilience, something that we do over and over so that when we need it, it's there, or to remind us of where we're focusing our attention. So this is a repetitive practice for your good, to make a difference and add value to your life and your leadership. It's a way to stimulate your mind in this present moment to focus on what that means for you right now, in the here and now. When we started the show, that's over with. Where we're headed, we don't know yet, but we're going there together. And right now, just take a moment to reflect on, do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? And that leads to a whole lot of other things. And every week we try to unpack some of that or pique your curiosity into how you can do more. We all need a reminder every now and then to get back on track with what we really want for our lives. It's so easy these days to be derailed, following down a rabbit hole somewhere or another because you've just lost track of where you were going. The more you commit time for regular reflection on this one question, at least once a day, the sooner a shift will begin to occur. A shift to bring you into better alignment or better positioned to chart the course for your vision, your dreams, and your goals. And if they're yours and you manage a team or lead a team, you want to be clear so that you can make things clear for them to follow, to get on board, and to make bigger things happen. So give yourself permission right now to let go and be fully present in this moment, to think deeper. Yes, think deeper and be more intentional and do something more or different to move closer to your dreams. How will you take action with the value you gain today? We'd love to know, because if it matters to you, it matters to me. And I'm here. The number one reason I'm here is because I care about you. And this is how I contribute value to the world of leadership. But what I want most is for you to be motivated, inspired, with a willingness to engage deeper with the plans you hold for your future. And your future begins today. Everything you want already lives within you. It's available and waiting for you to manifest it into the existence in the world that you know. That's the path to transformative work with life-changing results. And I feel honored to be a part of the transformation leaders every day. Now, before we jump in, as I always say, make sure you've got something handy to capture whatever you're looking to get out of today. And I'm sure there's a nugget or two that will bring recall, an aha, or something that makes it important enough for you to capture and to go back and explore deeper in your time and space when it makes sense. Expanding your thinking is a way to continue to build your life, leadership, and legacy. We all have the capacity to do it. The question is, how many of us take that up with intention? So here we go. Today's topic: how are you leveraging relationships? The relationships in your life have power. And today we're talking about how to harness that power for your good. As a leader, this truth bubbled up in my consciousness a couple of weeks ago, and it struck a chord. And for the past month, I've been having these, I'm going to say they shouldn't be aha moments, but they've been aha moments because I wasn't focused on them. I was just doing them. And every time another one popped in, it was like, I need to talk about this. I need to share this on Dr. Helen Speaks. And so it's not something new, but it is valuable. It's a valuable part of the success of every leader, that you understand the power of the relationships you have in your life. And the more you leverage those relationships in your life, the more you create connected pathways to grow your leadership and increase your success. For the past month, moving through life, getting things done, making life happen, all those things that we do when we're in our zone, I noticed something happening. And it took me a minute to catch wind of it and just say, yeah, that is something I need to share. Because if I'm noticing it, other people, whether they're noticing it or not, what harm is it in saying it out loud and sharing it and putting it out there for other leaders to pick up on? Yeah. Getting things done and making life happen is not by accident. So in the process of doing what's needed to get things done, whether it's in meetings with people, attending conferences, which this is a high season for it, in train stations, airports, on shuttles, in hotel lobbies, whether it was starting up a conversation or reconnecting with someone that you haven't seen in a while. It's an opportunity to go deeper into you and to learn more about what's happening with other people. At the end of the day, it's about nurturing and building those relationships. I'm real big into connectedness. I just see everything connected in the world. And in some respect, our lives are like spider webs. Now, I hate using that analogy because I just detest spiders. They freak me out that, I'm just like, and when I see their webs, I'm like, okay, where's the spider? The spider's got to be somewhere near. But nonetheless, whether it's spider webs or crossword puzzles, think about when you're putting a crossword puzzle together. Now, me, I tend to start with the borders and fill in, but then I'm also looking at colors and other pieces that might make those connections so that though you know what the finished picture is supposed to look like, when you've got all those thousands of pieces on a table and you're trying to recreate that picture, yeah, reconnecting or connecting is important to focus on. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm a big believer in seeing and seeking out connections. And on some level, we're all connected to each other. How much time do you spend discovering, investing in connections? It might be people you know or people you want to know. Building relationships really is a growth opportunity. Now, social media invites us to connect all the time, sometimes to a point of being distracted. Yeah, you got to watch that. Sometimes you can start going down and looking at one and the next and the next and the next. And before you know it, it's like, where'd the time go? LinkedIn is my preferred social platform because the people I want to connect with and reach out to tend to be on LinkedIn. And I find for me, because of how easily you can get sucked into that social media wormhole, yeah, because I don't know where it ever ends. And even when you try to disconnect from it, I don't think there's an easy way to disconnect from it. It just lives out in cyberspace forever. However, I do have a preference. That's my preference, LinkedIn, but I have a presence on multiple platforms. Yes, I'm on Facebook. I much prefer my private Facebook page because then I kind of know where people are. And for whatever reason, I feel more connected to the people who want to be in that space versus the whole world because they may not care about what I'm doing or what you may be doing. And that's just me. But I do go out there to catch up and keep up with people and stay connected in relationships. So there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter. Oh, I guess I should say X since the recent name change. However, they all draw attention to being connected. They invite you to connect, follow, share. I mean, I've made some wonderful new connections and reconnections with people I'd lost touch with over the years. There's a real art and skill to relationship building. Some are quite simple and you probably do it every day without giving much thought to it. This is where your intention to grow your leadership or your business becomes important. Michelle Janae says, networking is not about just connecting people. It's about connecting people with people with ideas, and people with opportunities. Think about that. Think about when's the last time you went out to intentionally connect with someone on purpose because you were looking to collaborate, to find someone who has expertise or knows something about where you want to go? Think about your big goals and dreams that require the involvement of other people. How much thought do you give to the kinds of expertise or collaboration that might be needed to bring your visions and goals to fruition? We often miss the subtleness of how you can really be more intentional about achieving dreams with a bigger plan in mind. So I'm going to give you today some of the more natural or instinctive ways we can build meaningful relationships. None of them are new, but they all require an intention for you to focus on what that is that you're doing or could be doing more so than what you are. Number one, and I think this is the big one, to be authentic. Be true to who you are. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. Don't look at how someone else does and say, oh, I'm going to try that on because I think that would work for me. Be authentic to who you are. Your authenticity creates trust and fosters genuine and lasting connections. Think about it for a minute. Who do you know who have you met recently that when you just show up as to who you are, something happens and you find whatever conversation, however brief or long it may be, that it's resonating at a deeper level because you're bringing your best self to it. Number two, active listening. Pay attention to what people are saying to you. And I say active listening because oftentimes when we're in listening mode, we're listening at a mid-level because part of what we're doing is waiting for the opportunity to jump in with what we want to say in relation to what we heard them say. And in the process of doing that, we're probably missing some other thoughts that they're sharing because we're so focused on, okay, when can I break in and say what I want to say? Active listening, be patient. There'll be time for you to talk and show genuine interest in their thoughts and feelings. Why? Because that's going to hit them at a deeper level, especially when you're in person. People notice when you're focused and paying attention to them and hanging on to every word they say because it can take you somewhere. It can take you somewhere where you're looking to go to deepen that relationship. Number three, find common interests. Discover shared interests. Be curious about getting to know who you're talking to. If you are striking up a conversation, at some point you're going to get to some things that you find you share in common. And if not, you may be learning some new things that you thought about doing, and here's someone that does it all the time. And so you're learning. It's expanding your lifelong learning. I was on a train the other, I guess a couple of weeks ago, and I met Estelle. We were both headed to the same destination. So we were getting on at the same place and getting off at the same place. And okay, as I was waiting for the train, I knew how long I'd be there. And I said, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to work on while I'm on the train, and had my laptop all teed up. So once we got off, I'd just go to work and do what I do. Estelle and I struck up a conversation that continued even as we got off the train at our destination. And here's the value I want you to get out of that. As we began conversing, we found common interests that we had professionally, personally, and the potential for collaborating. Totally unexpected, not anything I was thinking about as I stood on that platform waiting for my train. And here we both are looking at deepening what we do independently and finding opportunity to do things together. So whether it's a hobby, cause, or favorite pastime, sharing those passions can create a strong bond of relationship. Number four, be empathetic. Show how much you care. In the words of Maya Angelou, who says, people may forget what you said, people may forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Empathy helps us build compassion and deepen relationships. It just does. And that's where the longevity, that's where the connection really happens, when we're being authentic with who we are and touching people. Number five is stay in touch. Make time to keep in touch with people with some degree of regularity. Consistent communication shows you value the relationship. Today, there are multiple touch points available: phone calls, text messages, emails, snail mail, by the way, a lost art, that you'd be surprised. What does it feel like when you get a card in the mail or letter or something other than the more convenient ways to touch bases? Doesn't it make you feel really special? I know I feel like, wow, they took the time out to either put a little message in there, even if they just sign their name, the stamp, the whole nine. You got to get to the post office or make sure your mail carrier picks it up, whatever. And the best way of staying in touch, at least for me, is still in person, because there's something when you are literally in person, not like we are now, but in person physically, that you sense things coming from the people that you're connecting to. Number 6, support and encourage. Offer support and encouragement to the endeavors of others. Celebrate their successes. Be happy for them. Don't you want people to be happy when you're in the midst of something wonderful that's happening in your life and you share it with someone? But it's important to also be supportive during challenging times. Think about a time in your life when you welcome the support or encouragement when you faced a challenge in life, and the difference it made for someone to reach out and notice. The memory of their support continues to last over time, and it deepens your connection with them. Remember, back to Maya's words, it's what you do to reach the soul, the heart of a person, that helps to strengthen that connection. Number 7, remember important details. This is like gold in the bank. It continues to appreciate regardless of market conditions or what you find going on in the world. When you pay attention to the details people share with you, like milestones, special events, or preferences, it shows that you care, that you've been listening to them, that you hear them, that they matter to you. That's rich. 8, volunteer and give back. Engage in volunteer activities and contribute to the community. There are engagements I've picked up because of volunteering, because of serving in community, that people saw something and it touched them in a way that they've reached out and said, hey, I remember you from the community cleanup or whatever it was. Your shared experiences in giving back can create strong bonds with like-minded people, where you thought it was, let me just do something good, and they saw it as, yeah, you really did a good thing. Number 9, be positive and approachable. Don't be a Grinch. Don't be a grouch. Maintaining a positive attitude and being approachable, people are more prone to be drawn to you because you radiate positivity. You make them feel welcomed and comfortable. Absolutely. Wouldn't you much rather sit beside someone that gives you some feel goods? Yeah. Number 10, practice gratitude. This is how I begin every day. It sets the tone for whatever I may encounter during the day, that even if I get out of sorts or just really frustrated with something, I stop, I pause, and I go back to, let me think about, what am I grateful for? Because even in those difficult and challenging moments, it's teaching you something about gratitude. Gratitude strengthens relationships and fosters a really deep sense of appreciation for how others contribute to your life, even if they're contributing something that's uncomfortable. Aren't you grateful that they did? Because maybe no one else had the wherewithal to even share that with you. Number 11, share your vulnerabilities. Open up about your own challenges and vulnerabilities. Does a couple of things. Number 1, it makes you more human and allows other people to feel more comfortable sharing their own struggles. Another thing that deepens that connection, we want to be connected. Let's really go deep. And remember to allow your gratitude to convey your humility in sharing your vulnerabilities, because you want to keep from going down the rabbit hole of who's got the bigger struggles to confront or overcome. There's no fun in that. Keep a positive mental attitude, because here that really matters, because you can couch it around not seeming like, oh, I can't wait to get away from this person. They're like bringing me down. No, lift it some. But it also shows that none of us are perfect. We all have vulnerabilities, which deepens that relationship. Number 12, respect boundaries. Oh, boundaries. Be mindful to respect the boundaries and personal space of others. We all have different comfort levels. I remember during the height of the pandemic, I would go to a conference, and some of them, they would have these buttons or ribbons or whatever you could put on your conference badge that spoke to. Red meant, no, I'm masked, I don't want to shake hands. Yellow meant, maybe, it all depends. And green is like, I'm open for whatever's going to happen here. So there are different ways to show up that are going to impact what you do and how you're going to respond to the influences around you. Real story. Got on the elevator. A woman gets on the elevator. She says, oh, I just love your hair. And immediately she went to reach for my hair. And I went like this. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, there are a lot of ways I could have handled this, but I've learned it's more important to make it a teachable moment and to share. Thank you for complimenting me on my hair. However, I don't like it when people just reach out to touch my hair. If you are curious or want to know more, ask me. Ask me. Respect my boundaries. And you'd be surprised. It might seem a stretch, but people appreciate that. Number 13, be sociable. You got to get out and be around people in environments, social gatherings, events, activities where you can meet new people and connect with like-minded people. I recently went to a family reunion that I don't recall ever going to. It was a distant connection for me, but I met relatives and peers and connecting around common interests. Oh my goodness. It's so exciting because I met some relatives I hadn't known. They were peers, and we're continuing and building something new together as family that we're going to launch in the world. Oh my goodness. And the last thing I'm going to share, point number 14, is follow up. If you promise to do something or follow up on something, make sure you follow through. As a leader, that demonstrates reliability, and it shows that you value the relationship. To wrap all of this up in a bundle, the interconnectedness of who we are in the world and what you do to optimize your leadership to live your best life is closer than you may think. Life will throw you curveballs, and each time it does, it's an opportunity for you to apply your resilience with intention to get back on your leadership journey with greater success. Because you're attentive to the value of relationships and how to leverage them instinctively, doesn't take a whole lot of research or anything. It's what you've already got within you. But by being intentional in building them, it's not rocket science. It's mindfulness, gratitude, and love for who you are and what you do to make a difference in the world. Yeah. Well, it's time for my super shameless shout out of love for the team that fuels the steam of Dr. Helen Speaks. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up to support what we do collectively in our roles to make this show happen. I'm better able to show up and serve others because of the team that walks beside me. Our purpose is to bring you insightful and intriguing information to help drive your leadership to the next level. What keeps you moving forward from here to what's next? Dr. Helen Speaks. Join us live on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Replays are available on our YouTube channel, Dr. Helen Holton, where all of our shows are housed, and you can go there, subscribe to us. Just find me on YouTube, Dr. Helen Holton. And we look forward to seeing you next week here on Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. And of course, you can always find us on the Win-Win Women Network. We're everywhere to be found to keep you connected.